Well, psychologically, a lot of the research is anecdotal rather than really scientific, but there are some interesting bits of research to talk about. A long time ago, first of all, colour was thought to be quite demonstrative of how we treat people. So, for example, they did something called Baby X experiments, where they had a baby dressed in a pink romper suit, a blue romper suit, and a yellow romper suit. The baby dressed in the blue romper suit was the one who was picked up, flown around like an aeroplane, and so on. The one in the pink was cradled, hugged, and so on. And the one in the yellow, no one really quite knew whether they were boy or girl, so they didn't quite know how to deal with them. So colours are quite significant depending on our culture, which leads me on to different colours mean different things to different cultures. I know in China, certainly in certain areas, people are very superstitious about wearing white at weddings because white is associated with death. The celebratory colour is red, so often you get a lot of red at weddings. Similarly, Disney even used a lot of colour to denote their good characters from their villains, from their half villain, half possibly could be redeemed type characters. If you think to certain roles like, say, Princess Jasmine, she's in pale blue. But if you compare her with Megara in Hercules, who's in purple, we don't really know whether she's good or bad. And then if you look at the villains of the piece, they're often in deep reds, purples, blacks, and so on. So colour has significance, even though we don't talk about it so much in the academic circles. I find it fascinating. I really enjoy it. I like thinking about how colour works. And the other thing that, this is a book I read a long time ago when I was doing my psychology degree, and it raised the question, is the colour I'm seeing the same colour as the colour you're seeing? You may call it green, I may call it green, but actually is my version of green orange, for example? Is it what you would call orange, or is it a different shade of green that you're seeing? And of course, psychologically, we never know this because you cannot actually get into somebody's head to see exactly what they're seeing. Colour can also mean a lot when it comes to things like our Instagram profiles, our social media, and so on, and that's quite good fun as well. Research has shown, again, this research is more pop psychology, anecdotal stuff, but it still makes interesting reading. Men who are dressed in blue often were judged and perceived as more stable than men who are dressed in other colours. And a woman, if her photograph was on a red background, she was perceived as more attractive. So, not that, you know, it's necessarily dating tips today, but that has some relevance as well. There seems to be quite a stereotype of it in some ways, but yes is the answer, but maybe not for the reasons that we think. Black allows us to disappear a little bit. It allows us to kind of fade into the background. Stagehands, technical support in a theatre wear black a lot, purely because it just makes them that little bit less visible. So we may choose to wear black if we're feeling down just because we don't really want to be noticed. But black can also be quite a fashion statement. We've always got the little black dress, that comes back every Christmas. So black's not necessarily a bad colour or a negative colour. Again, same sort of thing. Some, again, anecdotal interview advice is, for guys, if you wear a red tie, you're more likely to be noticed because it is that bright colour that's a little bit different to perhaps everybody else. However, if you wear a bright colour, you are expressing something. You are pretty much saying, hello, notice me, I am wanting to stand out a little bit more. So our choices can reflect our mood, but they can also reflect how people want to see us. So conversely, if you don't want to be noticed, then actually it's probably more sensible not to wear too bright a colour. It might. Certainly in terms of rooms, there's been research that suggests that you've got green as quite a calming colour, lavender is quite a calming colour, and the smell of lavender as well with aromatherapy can make a difference. And a lot of hospitals now are making over a lot of their areas in order to make it more comfortable for patients, so they're not quite as scary and quite as that dull kind of colour that you feel when you're walking into a hospital. So colour can change our mood. Of course, green rooms are called green rooms because they used to be green as a calming place to relax before the show starts. So colour can make a big difference to us and our mood. A lot of the time, if you are getting, say, dressed by a personal dresser, they will talk about whether your skin tone is a warm skin tone or a cool skin tone. And there are warm colours, the reds, the oranges, the autumnal colours, and there's cooler colours, the silvers, the blues. And often, depending on our skin tone, we may suit one colour more than another. Certain colours may make certain skin tones look washed out, others may make us look as if we have a glorious tan. So there are those differences between colours, but it also has a significance when it comes to medicines. There was a piece of research where they gave people 2 placebos, so these pills weren't going to do anything to anybody, but one was a warm colour, a sort of pinkish colour, and one was a cold colour, a blue colour. And significantly, people felt that they were feeling a lot better having taken the warm coloured pill. So another weird thing where, although it's not really studied, I think it should be studied in a little bit more depth.